All of us here. We'll make do. We'll make do. We'll see who pops in. Yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Hey,
So get your wins ready. Yeah.
before you
It's
start, what
it's starting.
did you posted something about evaluation? Did you give a speech to Claude or somebody and then it evaluated it?
Explain yourself. What do you mean? What speech? You talking
Okay,
about for the next top speaker thing?
yes.
Yeah, I put my information in there and what I was talking about, and then after seeing a few others that had submitted their information, I was like, well, maybe I'm going about this the wrong way because of the story that I was going to tell. And then uh, because of missing my dentist appointment, whatever, I'm not going to sit here and make mistake or excuses. But I didn't realize that there was a 1 to 3 minute like introduction video, if you will. So what I did on that, what I was explaining to you, is after watching that, after having the information, I said, you know what? I want to go back to what I know and what I teach, which is how to become scripted on anything by using the door-to-door presentation, which is the intro, body, and close, right?
Hmm.
So I talked to ChatGPT and went on, I call her Luna,
Hmm.
and I dictated and I said, okay, look, this is the presentation that I used to do at the door. I need to tailor it for this thing that I'm doing now. And I just broke it down each individual piece. So I went for the introduction first, got the introduction down, role played it a couple times. Then I got the body of it, role played it a couple times, and then the close was pretty easy. It was just support, let me know that you're going to come support and vote or whatever, and practice it. I don't know, 2, 3 times, and then went live and messed up the first time, and then I got it like the second or third time. But yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was something you had presented as a preliminary and we kind of missed it.
No,
Or
it is a preliminary, but it's mostly just an invitation to say, hey, this is what we're doing. Can you let me support or whatever. The other
gotcha.
cool thing, since we're on the topic, we'll just start off with this. The neat thing that I learned on this whole thing from Kaylee Chu was I guess the best way to put it was Pictionary, right? So creating, I know this might seem a little funky, but these are my little notes. He said what you do to memorize the presentation is look at the presentation like a clock, if you will, right? So counter or clockwise. And then the very first topic that you're talking about, you draw some kind of picture or imagery that reminds you of what you're supposed to talk about. Like the first one is a hand going up, which would be high. The second one is an American flag, which would then I would start transitioning over to my time in military service. Then there's a picture of, I don't even know what this is.
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah, pretty much, man. There you go, hieroglyphics. But I got like little pictures in a round circle to remember what I'm going to talk about. Uh, but then as I'm watching some of these folks, and I'm please understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to talk bad about them or anything, but as I'm watching some of these people present, I'm like, well, I got a really good shot at this. Because some of them are not versed in the art of communication, which is, one of the things that I was talking about, especially here, is understanding communication and knowing how to present yourself or knowing how to share your message or even share your story, right? Some of them, as I'm going through inside the group, they're like so dramatic and just overacting and these other things. And it's like something occurred to me that I was going to probably put in the presentation is some of the things that I talked to you guys about that I learned. Number one, Vicky knows this one. Get out of your head and into your heart. So as I was sitting there and I'm role playing these things, I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm like, why am I even doing this? Why don't I just take my own advice and just speak from the heart? So in essence, I know already the key factors that I need, and then I just got to watch the time to make sure that I don't go over 7 minutes. But the delivery should be pretty good.
Okay.
And it's
Cool.
going to be about awareness and action, not to give too much away. And since we're talking about this, everybody here, I may have a guest speaker that's going to join us in February, most likely the third week. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm going to have you guys be a little surprised, but it's somebody that I've talked about many a times on this show, and I think it's going to be great. He posted something about being on a podcast, and when I went to go look at it, sadly, the person that did the podcast doesn't have an audience. So the podcast was up for like 4 weeks and only one view on it. So I'm like, hey buddy, you want to come on my show? We'll get you at least 5 to 10 views.
Hmm.
So he told me in February. And so yeah, it should be, I think, the third week in February. But it's gonna be a special treat. I'm certain you guys will love it. But beyond that, here we are. It's Monday, TGIM. It's freaking cold in Texas. I don't know how warm you guys are. But like I said before the show to Vicky and Rita, if you guys have some sunshine, please feel free to send it my way because it is colder than what we're used to in Texas. In fact, I was explaining before we started that the house inside isn't even 70 degrees. I've had the heater going all night long, so I can only imagine what my my electric bill is going to look like at the end of the month. But here we are. It's Monday. Over 4 years that we've come every single Monday without missing a beat. What we do here is we kind of celebrate you guys' wins, hear from the audience, tell us about what's going on in your life, what you're excited about. Then we have a little instrumental, like teaching, coaching type of thing. And
Before you start, you need to start recording.
oh, you're so awesome. Yeah. I'm actually doing it live on YouTube, but I forgot to hit the record button last week. So here we are again, TGIM, my favorite day of the week. So we're going to hear from some of you guys that are in the panels. I hope you guys got your wins ready. I've got a few to share with you, a couple of quick little updates, if you will. Then we'll have a little instructional piece. Today is week 4, so we're already, holy crap, man. We're already a month into the year. Hello, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, watching the time, seeing what's going on, but it's just flying by, my friends. So
Yes.
this is week 4. We're going to talk about fear is a liar. I've got some slides presented for to present to you today. And ultimately, what I want to talk about and what I really want you guys to grasp from today's episode is going to be overcoming the fear of rejection, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I've got some slides. We'll have some fun. It'll be educational. Everyone will love it, and we'll have a kick butt week. Okay. So who wants to start us off? You guys got some wins? I know you got some wins. Hold up your hand, get in line, share some wins. I'm excited. And don't y'all go at once. Now, come on.
Go for one. I got
Don't
one.
make me call on you. Go ahead, Virgil.
Yeah, I got one. It's a good one.
Yay.
Well, it's about that. It's what happens when you stay consistent and true, uh, through the networking that you're doing. And this Saturday, I shot the first pilot of what is meant to be a series of capsules, podcast style on art, fashion, and it's the cultural divide between the young generation and the old generation, and how AI comes into it. It's a project it's a connection that came through the artist that I'm involved with that has grown to be now part of most of my daily week's activity. We talk, we share, we expand. And they had a side project or lead project, which was setting up a multimedia service center, which falls into all this conversation about branding and whatnot. They're specifically music and television type content type creation hub. They already outsourced different contracts. So they had this idea and they thought about me to lead the conversation and the project. So we shot the first well, we did the first dry run this weekend to set up, test the mic, and it went pretty well. More surprisingly well, I should say. I found my way around the anchor position. I think it's from everything that we've been doing together. I found just naturally just to pick up the conversations and start sharing the point of view across the room. So it was pretty great. I'm not sure if that is gonna air that part, but it's most likely gonna be used as a making of. And It was an experience because it was an all day type experience in studio and set. And it also allowed me to create more bonds with more people. So increasing the circle of network. I actually met this crazy TikToker guy. He has videos that are racking numbers in the hundred of thousand every time they go out. And it's just about going streetwise and introducing people to a virtual reality and gaming into that environment. And the funniest take come on it, and some of it tend to go viral. And he's part of the project as well. So it's a very like great thing that is happening right now. So that
It
was my
sounds
win. It
exciting.
overshots everything else I have to talk about. It was an experience.
That sounds exciting, brother, and congratulations. I had a thought that I want to share with everybody here, okay, just real quickly. You being on video like that, that's really cool because it's exposure. Exposure. And the reason that I say that and this comes to my mind, the other word that's coming to my mind is testimonials. Okay? Testimonials. The reason that I'm even saying this is because I know that Rita's going to be making a testimonial for me. I've got a couple of other testimonials. There's been a few people that I've asked for testimonials for, and unfortunately, one or two of them have said that they were a little afraid to get on video. OMG. So that's something that we got to work on. But I can tell you this as a fact, as a fact. Every chance that I get to do a testimonial for somebody, I will do it because it's exposure. As a fact, I have had, and it's not going to happen all the time, but I have had at least one person, I know it doesn't seem like much, but at least one person that reached out and signed up with me for a particular program because of my testimonial. Okay. So I'm saying that to say this, don't be afraid to get on camera, do some testimonials because ultimately you need to be seen. And that's what we want to work on with you guys is to be seen, get your message out there, know how to say your message or your story. So thank you, Virgil, for sharing that. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing that video reel, man. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, man. It was quite the clash of generation and content when we were having it. Even the guys were like, "Hey, finally, this thing is pretty interesting to watch. You guys keep going and talking. We're just gonna, hopefully, we'll see."
But it's interesting too, like when you share knowledge with people that they don't know, they're obviously going to lean in, right? And then they're going to absorb it, especially if they enjoy the content or the information. So kudos to you, brother. Keep it up. Keep it up. And consistency is the key. Damn Skippy. Jorge, what you got, brother? I think somebody went flying.
Well, I guess I can share a couple of wins.
Yes.
One is that my approach and landing had more than 1,000 views. And the other thing was I got into a project where they develop an application that with the simple press of a button on your phone and give the instructions of your feeling or your idea, you get a song created, and actually it comes with it can come with video and all kind of stuff. And I finally got to get a little bit of handling on that, and I've been sharing it, so it's actually pretty neat that app, and it's going to go on the market also as an app to be bought by people, and I will be making a tiny income out of that. So that's pretty good.
Heck yeah. Any extra income is a good income, especially if it's coming from multiple sources.
Yep.
But congrats, brother. 1,000 views, that's no joke, man. Especially especially if you don't have an audience, right? Uh I'm lucky if I get 1,000 views on mine. So kudos to you, brother. Good job. Keep it up.
Thank you.
And I love seeing those videos too, or that video. When I saw you flying that first time before you came in last Monday and I knew you flew, I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear about it. So kudos to you for getting back up in the air, brother. Looking forward to you getting your license and eventually, like I said, we were joking but partially serious. Maybe one day be our pilot. We'll fly everybody into a cool
Hey,
location and have a meeting.
where in Texas are you?
I'm in South Texas by Corpus Christi,
Oh,
down
okay.
by the bay.
Yeah, yeah.
We do
Well,
have an airport.
yeah, I'm in Katy, so we're
Oh,
not
okay.
too far away, so
Oh man. Yeah, you're right down the street. Really?
we might be
It's
able
not
to
too
see
far.
each other one of these days.
We might have to do that, brother. I don't get up that way very often because I don't leave my house much, but but Katy, Texas, yeah, that's not too far away at all. We'll
Well,
have to meet up someday.
I've been passing by. Well, actually, I was one time there because my wife, uh, she was a fan of Selena,
Mhm. Yeah,
so we went to look at some of her stuff, and
yeah.
but I love Corpus Christi. I think it's
It's
a
nice.
fantastic city.
It is.
The the seashore that they have, the marinas are
Yeah.
fantastic.
Right there where Selena's at. You got to see her, I guess, right? The statue
Yep.
there. Did you see
Well,
that?
thanks.
Jorge, did you see the statue of Selena there on the bayfront?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
went into a little museum or something
Yeah.
to check her stuff.
Yeah. People
So
come
my
from all
so,
over to
yeah.
find out more about Selena. So yeah, if you ever get to Corpus Christi, let me know. We'll meet up for sure.
Well, now that I know, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
Oh,
like 30 minutes away from Corpus, so you get around those parts of the woods and hit me up and let me know. We'll have lunch or something. But thank you for
all right.
sharing, Jorge. And I look forward to you getting up in the sky a little more. Thank you for
That
sharing,
I
brother.
that I will.
Who's next? Who wants to go next? Go ahead, Vicky.
Well, a lot of my wins, what I consider wins this week, came from networking. I have been trying to challenge myself to learn new things when it comes to the script and to the PHP and coding and stuff like that. And I was able to go to a meeting where I could get some of that additional knowledge. And then I ended up benefiting a lot because of it. Looks like that they might be willing to help get me up to speed where I want to be on certain things that's related to my site.
Sure.
And so I'm excited about that. But just to have those new contacts, plus when I went to the meeting, I won a prize. I won an actual plugin that I can add to all of my sites. So that'd be
Yay!
pretty cool. So,
What does the
but I'm
plugin do?
really, huh?
What does the plugin do?
It's a game.
Okay,
It's
cool.
mostly designed to help get people surfing longer and things like
Sure.
that. So, I'm it's already installed on one, and now I'm in the process of designing some images and stuff, and then I can put them on the other sites too. But I thought that was so cool because it's like a $80 mod, and I was able to get it just because I attended the
Yay!
meeting. So yeah.
Are you doing your pages in HTML? Or you?
CSS and HTML.
So one
And
thing
then
I've
some
learned,
of
I
the
don't.
pages in the
Mhm.
sites are PHP.
Okay. So one thing I learned over the course of what I'm going to talk about as far as the wins, you definitely want PHP, not HTML, for safety
Mm-hmm.
purposes. And
Mm-hmm.
I can say Claude is really good at that. Not Claude Code, but Claude is pretty good at that. You might even be able to use ChatGPT. ChatGPT will do some coding for you. But if you go and you ask it to code something and it codes in HTML, I would immediately ask them to rewrite it in PHP because of safety. Just a
Hmm.
couple of quick tips there for you. Okay?
Well, all of our scripts are done with the PHP.
They should be.
Most of the HTMS and CSS is actually being put inside of the content
Right.
area,
Right.
so it doesn't get like it doesn't have the risk like the other
Right.
security
Exactly.
pages would have.
Plus, it
So
makes the pages more dynamic on what you want to see on those pages versus HTML for those you non-coders that don't know this information. Yeah, you did I? Yeah, but PHP is the way to go. Even if you go and you develop something in HTML, it's really simple to say, hey, take this page and transfer it from HTML to PHP. Makes it way more dynamic. A lot of
well,
cool things that you can
that's
do
really
too.
cool that you mentioned that because if I found out that one of the programs that I am involved with, they're turning everything over to PHP.
Good.
And they're using Claude. So that's a big hint right there.
Yeah.
But now I had two people in one day say that. So it must be a pretty great resource.
Yeah, it is for coding, but for me, like I have an upgraded package. Like I pay $100 a month for that because of what I'm coding and doing.
Mm.
But I think Galaxy AI is $15 a month. It's got a version of Claude you can use, or even ChatGPT. Like I said, it will write code for you. Uh, One of the things I was going to say as far as my wins is I picked up a new client the other day for a quick little website, quick little 250 bucks for maybe 5 hours of my time, if that. They're using Lev AI, the off-brand of Now site. So it's cool because I can, I know how to use that system. But for those of us that are aware of Now site, it's kind of limited on the things that you could do. It's just going to create kind of a plain Jane website, if you will. But you do have the coding snippets in there, so having that coding snippet is really an amazing feature. And Virgil shaking his head yes, because I'm sure that's what he's using for his dynamic program that's looking really fantastic. But just a couple of little tips there for you. And if you ever need any help, I'll try to do what I can. So definitely reach out and
Thank you.
congrats on the newfound knowledge. I'm learning quite a bit as well with the whole HTML to PHP thing. It's very important to know, especially if you're building your own website. So kudos to you, girl. Thanks for sharing.
I've got only two more pages left.
Mm,
And then I did get the blog attached, but now I've got to
okay.
go set up the blog and start putting posts in. But I did get a lot done this last week in that journey.
Awesome. Congratulations, girl. Way to move forward. Dre, did you have something you wanted to share, girl? Looked like you had your hand up.
Yeah, but mine is more like personal,
That
but
don't matter.
everybody's having such great
Wins a win.
success. I don't want to bring it down, but I guess my my win was more personal about getting prepared for the winter storm that was coming in, and
Yeah,
combined with thanking God for giving me a little
yeah,
bit for giving me insight, and then also military background, and just knowing how
yeah,
the government works. I was like,
yeah.
that might happen. The electricity might go out regardless of the snow, and I
Right.
seen this happen to a lot of people in Texas before the weather even started. Their electricity went out, and then it's like, So if you know, you know. But anyway, but it was so so cool to see like my 16-year-old, of course, nothing's really dramatic in her world has happened. So prepping didn't seem necessary. And it was just funny just to kind of see her going out because I'm in an all electric building house, and I knew I knew this was in danger. But there was certain things that happened that I was brought to my attention that could happen, like San Francisco, and right before Christmas, their whole grid went out, electricity. And so I was looking at that, and something in print helped me to say, you know what, this could happen. And what if that happened? What could I do? So in December, I started prepping. Thank God our lights stayed on and we didn't have to worry. We got more of snow than the ice, and the ice is the one that causes a lot of disaster
Sure.
on that. on that. So it was really fun and everybody cooperated. I got
Yeah.
a little manic just a little bit on some things, but the whole household they played along. We had water tubs of water just for flushing. We had alternate heat sources, different things. We cooked beforehand just to make sure because it was easier to warm than to
Sure.
cook.
Yeah.
It was just, making sure everybody took a shower. They had the personal items, while we had a chance.
Go
It
wash
was
your butt.
you know we washed all our clothes just to make sure we had clothes.
Mhm.
you know identifying which room would be the warmest,
Yeah.
and it was a great family project. And I know it's not for not, so it was a lot of learning experience, and it was a fun activity. And I'm glad that the
Hey,
light
do us a
stayed on
favor,
in the water.
Doria.
Huh?
Doria, tell everybody here what are the five P's for the military?
Oh Lord, don't ask me. I don't remember.
Ah,
Prepare.
prior something prevents piss poor performance. That's I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the wrong thing I'm
You
thinking
guys
of.
use piss poor performance.
But the thing I want to mention about this is obviously because you've got some prior military experience. So those
Yeah.
are the things that we do, right? We prep.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
it started talking about Texas, we don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Right.
But for somebody that's done over 20 years of door to door in that industry, I know how it works. With Texas specifically, they're a different kind of model than California or others only because in Texas there's five different grids, right? So if
Okay.
one grid goes down, it's not all five of them versus smaller states that might have one or two grids, right? So
Mm.
here, thankfully, we're lucky, no snow. But really, the worst part about that is the wind, right? You know as well as I do. The wind chill is what's gonna give you
Yeah.
frostbite or kill you,
Mm.
you know?
Hmm.
So kudos on you for being prepared. We even have some emergency storage food, went bought in the
Yeah.
container
I
just in
even
case
got
the
those
zombie apocalypse.
things you can sip through. You can get like contaminated water or
Yeah,
something like that, and you can sip through it and get
yeah,
real
yeah.
water.
Hell, I want to get some MREs, girl.
I know. And they gotten so popular.
Yeah.
They're so expensive. It's
I
hard to
s-
find.
I saw an ad on Facebook now that they're selling MREs
Wow.
on Facebook.
That's
Pretty
that's
crazy. Pretty
crazy.
crazy. Well, kudos to you for being prepared, my friend, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Love you
Thank you.
being here. Rita, did you have
Thank
something
you.
you wanted to share real quick? I know you're over there winning, learning all kinds of new.
Hey Dorea, that's great. And it just reminds us there's something kind of, I don't know, some kind of go bag, or I don't know if it's called that or not, but it's just a reminder, even in Florida when we lose electricity. So don't think that it's just because it's cold. You just remind us of what we need to do. Listen, thank you for that.
Rita, when I was living there in Florida, thankfully the house that we bought actually had a generator. And it
Yeah.
was the only one, we were the only one on the street that had it. So whenever the hurricanes came through and everybody else lost power, my neighbors loved to hate me.
We're thinking
Carry
about getting one too.
on. Carry
Just
on, Rita.
just
Didn't mean
cause.
to interrupt you.
Absolutely. No, it's no problem. Well, let me do my little dance because I haven't danced in a little while, but I got my little munchkins doing Savor Sam's
Hey,
dancing. So, all right. So, um,
excited.
the post was up to over 1,600 now. I'm like, whoa. I check it every now and then, every time somebody um, uh, gives it a like or something. So I do think I'm doing things in phases. I have four characters, five including me, and I did my Saver Sam. I did a short song, a long song. He's dancing now, and I also made stickers out of me. So now I send my emojis like stickers. So I kind of like that. It's fun. But all of those things you can turn into making money because if people ask, you can just say, "Hey," and I think we talked about that before
Yeah.
as doing it as a donation. And I did something crazy with, well, no, let me go back to this one. So I shared a comment with Virgil, and he reminded me about taking that person and dropping it in Now Site and doing the personality analysis. And I was like, oh, that was good. I forgot about that.
Great
Thanks for helping
idea.
me connect those
Great idea.
dots because I forgot. And it makes total sense because other people said stuff too.
Right.
The last thing was I joined a from this AI business summit. It took me 2 weeks to remember that. There were people in there that are doing things, and one of the presenters during the summit was talking about grant writing, which I thought was pretty cool because I'm that's coming by me. I don't know why, but I'm hearing people say, "Hey, I need somebody to write a grant," and she's giving us grants. She's telling us what to do. And I haven't had time to dig in because it is work, and I've been focusing on Munchkins. But that's the next thing that is on the table, doing the
Cool.
grants. So, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
from what I
Oh, oh,
understand, there's a
oh,
lot of
wait,
grants out there.
wait.
Go ahead.
What? One thing I also learned, I was so excited last week about getting all these little characters done, and the next one is coming out today. Um, Getting them done, I was like, I was staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and that, guess what? I paid for it dearly. So I can't do that anymore. I can't. I can't. I was tired for 2 days. I think I stayed up till 3 o'clock like 3 days in a row, and it came back to hit me. So,
Hey,
uh, we,
are you monetized on Facebook?
yes, I am.
Cool.
Hmm.
I'd be interested to see how little bit or how much your increase is with these new toys that you're playing with and new assets.
Oh my gosh, there's so much fun. I can get lost in just creating stuff. It really stuff really clicks. So
Isn't it
thank.
fun?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It makes like because it made me say I have a deadline. I'm not going to bed until I finish it. I've got this is the next thing that has to be done. It has to be done, and I'm not going to sleep until I get it done. So that pushed me. But even though it was fun and it was a little challenging because I'm new to a lot of this stuff, but I'm still, I'm still rolling with it. So that was my push. I had to get it done, and I wasn't going to bed until I did.
Well, kudos to you. Good job, girl. You are an exceptional friend and you're just so coachable and I love that you're learning these new things. And it's so true. Look, I want to just quickly say something on top of what she was talking about. And I don't know if you guys caught what she said, but these are easy ways that you can make a little money, right? But if you don't dive in and learn how the tools work, then you're not going to make any money. Right? I one of my wins that I could share with you guys right now last week had a buddy of mine that I've known for over 15 years. He knows that I know my stuff with graphics and everything else. So he asked me to make a cool little sticker. Speaking of stickers, and it was just to celebrate the fact that he was about to hit 250,000 followers on his Arkansas Outdoor page. So I whipped one up, used artificial intelligence. It literally took me about 5 minutes, if that. Did three different variations, shot it off to him, said, "Yeah, I take donations." He said, "Is 25 bucks enough?" I said, "Sure." So 25 bucks in like 5 to 10 minutes, guys. Right? This goes back to the things that I talk about when I first went to door and realized what my value was. You're worth way more than going out there and working a 9 to 5. Now, if you're working a 9 to 5, obviously I'm not downing that. I'm not saying that's bad, right? Because you got to pay bills, you got to do what you got to do. But there's more worth in you than what anybody can pay you hourly. I just want you guys to know that. I also picked up another client for a quick little website. I mentioned that the extra little 250 bucks right there. Main website for Robert Blakely is almost done. Got everything transferred over into PHP. Got some cool little ambers flying in the background. Looks really awesome. The Lost Transition is almost done as well. Did a lot of work over the weekend. Just got to work on the conference room and stuff. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Those of you that have been following know that I also joined in on the next top speaker competition that Kaylee Chu is having. I don't know what it was. I just kind of saw it, saw Russell Brunson was behind it as far as like the video production of it. I say, you know what? I should probably do that. Ultimately, it's just so that I can work on my skill sets of communication so that I can become a better speaker. So that's cool. I may also potentially have a new person for Got Backup, waiting for her to either, jump on board or I'm going to have to do some follow up. This is all predicated on our inner circle meeting that we had. We took an hour to do the 5 conversations per hour, and within that hour time frame, I ended up getting 2 people, 2 deals. So what am I saying? It works if you work it. And then the last thing that I got to do is just finish the video for the lead magnet that I've got. And again, I want to say consistency is key, right? Every day, as long as you're doing something towards your business, it's a good thing. But the moment that you stop, now you got to worry about getting remotivated and things like that. So make sure you stay consistent. Rita, you got something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I using ChatGPT was something personal. I had invested in something, and look, I hate crypto because I don't know what it is. I like tangible
Sure.
stuff.
Sure.
So, but okay, I don't want to learn about it. But to do what I was doing, I needed to know something in case like I wanted to share it with my family or whoever.
Sure.
So, I created an infographic so it would explain to me what it was.
Wow.
So now I have a better understanding.
Good.
And so if there's something that you don't know about and you need a picture, like pictures, what do they say, speak 1,000 words or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But use ChatGPT to help you understand a little bit better about what it is you don't know. So
Good.
that was a shortcut for me. So I can kind of talk about it now intelligently. But it wasn't the crypto I was interested in. But anyway,
Right.
that's another story.
Well, you know
Okay.
what I love about that, Rita, I just want to mention, and we briefly talked about this. What I want to say is, look, she didn't know anything about it, right? But what did she do? She took action and then learned about it, found out about it. Like you don't have to know everything to get started. You just got to get started, then start learning everything. So kudos to you for taking that action, Rita. I look forward to you making millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. All right, let's go ahead and let's get started. I got some slides for you guys. Went a little bit longer than normal, so I'm gonna have to adjust to my speed accordingly. Did you want to say something real quickly, Jorge? Yes? No?
Yes, yes. Just about the crypto issue, I've been playing with it for maybe 3, 4 years,
Mhm.
and yes, it's very intimidating. It's very you lose some money, but that is just the learning.
Mhm.
But the reason I did it is because I'm 71 and I see that the younger generations, that's what they are interested in, that's what they use. So to me, that's the future of money.
Yeah, well, it certainly can be, and I don't want to use this platform as a debate on that. Because it's not that kind of show, but when it comes to money, gold and silver is where I'm at. That's the only real money that's out there. So, but kudos to you. Like, I don't want you guys to misconstrue what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a big fan of crypto, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out there and kill it, right? When crypto first came out, I did pretty decent, made some money, and then I got out after kind of realizing that cryptocurrency was in essence just like the fiat dollar. There's nothing really backing it. But again, I'm not here to dissuade you from it. By all means, if you see it as valuable, get in there and make it happen. As a quick little disclaimer, because I feel like we should at this particular point in time, never invest or put money into anything that you're not willing to lose. Cool. So with that being said, let's get these kicked off. And again, I kind of preface this at the beginning of the show about what we're going to talk about today. Fear is a liar. Okay. This is coming from, as you guys know, if you've been following me, over 20 years of direct marketing, meaning that I would go door to door, bang on people's door, ask them to go get me their bill, and I would close them on a lower rate for electricity or gas, or maybe it was a vacuum cleaner. It doesn't matter. I went door to door quite a bit. And some of those lessons that I learned, you may have heard me say one or two of those things, but today is all about that. It's all about overcoming whatever that fear of rejection is once and for all. So I'm going to tell you a couple of personal stories from my experience as well as go through these slides. This isn't to like regurgitate any information that you might have heard before. This is coming from directly from the source of somebody that has had to overcome the fear of rejection. And part of that and my training when it came to door from an absolutely outstanding mentor of mine, a Canadian guy named Shane Sadowitz, taught me a lot of different things. And I want to share some of those with you because I'm sure that they'll resonate with you. One of the things that they told us while we were in training, they said, you're gonna be nervous, man. You're gonna be shaky, you're gonna be scared. That first door is gonna look like it's 10 feet tall. It's gonna look like a giant lives in there. When you knock on the door, you're gonna bruise your hand and knuckles because the wood is so hard. But don't let any of that get in your way. Imagine that was what they told us, right? So if you know my experience, right, I started off, I was closing about 50% of the people that I talked to just with the presentation that they gave me, which is actually quite high in the sales industry. I don't know if anybody else has done it. If you've done it, please let's share notes. But then eventually I got to 100% closing ratio. So every person that I talked to, they couldn't tell me no. They tried to tell me no. Don't get me wrong, they certainly tried. But there's about five objections, main objections that you're going to get. Whether you're doing door to door, online stuff, your job, and they're typically the same, but your job is to figure out what those five objections are going to be, right? And if you know what those five objections are going to be, because of traditional past history and conversations, then you can combat those objections, as we call them, right? Once you learn to combat those objections, the actual rejections that you're going to get is a lot lower. Make sense? So why I'm saying that is because I had to have that rejection at the very beginning so that I could teach myself how to overcome those objections or get around them. Now, the flip side to this, because I am the Blakester, what do we teach here? We're going to teach you how to sell without the rejection. Isn't that cool? Because who likes rejection, right? Nobody likes rejection. But I want to say that I said all that to start us off to say fear is a liar, right? So we're going to talk about overcoming those objections, why you have those fears, and how we can avoid them and overcome them, right? So you know the voice, right? It's inside your head. What if they say no? What if they laugh at me? Or what if I just look stupid? A lot of this is the negative self-talk that we tell ourselves because of past experiences, right? If you've never done it before, things are going to look scary, they're going to look big, they're going to look hard, they're going to look like they're going to hurt you, okay? But it's that little voice that stopped more dreams than any other competitor, any economy, any obstacle ever could, right? It's the one that kept you from making the call. That's a big one, especially in network marketing, is to even pick up the phone, guys. Like I did years of telemarketing service, so I'm good at picking up the phone too. Right? I'm good at having a conversation with people. So I'm not afraid to pick up the phone. But those of you that might be afraid, that phone's gonna be just like that big old door. It's gonna feel 1,000 pounds heavy. You're gonna need both hands and a shoulder and someone backing you up just to get it up to your ear. Right? So we're gonna expose what fear really is today. And in essence, it's just a liar. But it's not even a good one, guys. It's not even a good liar. I'll tell you why. Here's what fear really is, so that you understand what this enemy is that we're looking at. So, fear pretends to be a protector, keeping you safe, right? I've said this before, and I'll say it again multiple times. Our brains are not wired for success, they are wired for survival. So that's where that fear comes into place because your brain is already wired for survival. That's where we have to go and rewire the brain, right? But it's there to assumingly protect you and keep you safe, right? It's that wise advisor with your best interest at heart. It's that realistic voice of reason that tells you, oh, don't do that. You might fail. Or it's a predictor of the future. I'm just trying to help you avoid pain. What it actually is, though, it's a primitive alarm system from caveman days, designed for life or death threats. That's it. I mentioned earlier, our brain is not wired for success, it's wired for survival. So it's completely miscalibrated for modern life, treating a sales call like a tiger attack, right? No one ever died from hearing no, though, guys. Right? I, I, I've been told no so many times, and here I am. Right? I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still alive. Why am I saying that? Because I don't want you to be afraid of it. You're not going to die from hearing somebody tell you no. What I will tell you is that if you hear no, that means you didn't present it properly. It's that simple. When you present things properly the right way, you're going to reduce the amount of objections that you're going to get. Okay. So here's the five lies that fear tells us that we need to be aware of. Awareness, that magic word that I love so much. Number one, rejection means you're not good enough. That's not true at all. Not at all. I just told you guys, right? If you learn how to maneuver those rejections or those objections, then you won't even have them. If you present properly, you won't even have them. This is the misnomer that many people don't get, don't understand, and they fail at sales because of this. Even some of the top name people, like I've mentioned this before, I'm not going to name drop anybody, but I find it interesting with a couple of big name coaches that are out there selling you their big black of secrets and how they can overcome objections. Well, what if you just didn't have the objections? Right? Because you knew how to properly present yourself. You wouldn't need a big block of scripts to help you how to overcome objections, right? The second lie that it tells you is everyone will judge you. Well, you know what? Everyone's going to judge you anyway. Hate to say it. Like my drill sergeant used to say, hard but fair, sad but true, right? But the truth is, most people are too busy worried about themselves to think about you, right? But we think that they do. Yes, they do. Don't get me wrong. But we think that they do more than they actually do. But they're busy doing their own little things, right? So let's not worry about how people are going to judge you. And if they judge you, I think of the beautiful lesson that my mother taught me. She said, never point a finger because you've got three more pointing back at you. And it took me a while to really understand what she meant. I mean, I was pretty young, and she finally, I'm like, what do you mean when you say that? She said, point your finger. She said, look at the three fingers that are pointing right back at you. And that was a lesson that I'll never forget, even to this day. It's one of the reasons why I do my best not to ever judge or point a finger at somebody. All right. The misnomer or the thought might come into my head, and then I've got to say, oh, hey, we know better than that. We shouldn't be doing that. Everybody's equal, right? We're all on the same playing field. You don't know whatever that other person's going through. All right. So don't worry about the judgment. Number three, if you fail, you'll never recover. Truth is, you've survived 100% of your worst days so far. Have we all had a bad day here? Raise your hand. We've all had a bad day. Guess what? You're still here. Pinch yourself. You're still here, right? The fourth one is wait until you're ready. Man, if you sit there and you wait till you're ready, you're never going to be ready. I just discussed this a moment ago about Rita not knowing what the hell she was getting into, but she took action, right? It's not a time to wait till you're ready. It's a time to jump in and figure it out, right? So don't wait until you're ready. You're never going to feel ready, okay? But if you take action, that's going to create that readiness, right? So you're already moving in action. Simple science says a motion in object stays, an object in motion stays in motion, right? So get in motion. Number five, playing it safe is a smart move. Truth is, playing it safe is the most dangerous thing you can do, my friends. The most dangerous thing you can do. Oh, well, I'll play it safe over here. You're never going to get recognized. You're never going to get seen. People won't hear your voice or your story if you're playing it safe. So we encourage you to get rid of and out of and away from any of these five lies that you hear. Now, I think we kind of talked about this in a past episode, but obviously it's important to bring it back up. The math fear doesn't want you to do the real cost of fear. We talked about this, I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago, a little bit, about what you're missing out on because of fear, right? Maybe it's 10 calls that you don't make because that phone is £1,000 because you're not ready. You could literally be losing $2,000 in commissions, right? 365 days of all start tomorrow. But the brutal truth is rejection stings for 5 minutes. Maybe not even that long, quite honestly. And I can tell you, and I say this laughingly with love in my heart, I've had agents of mine that I trained that would sit on the corner on the freaking curb crying, crying, my friends. Oh my God, it tell me no, I suck. I hate this is not for me. You know what I would do? I say, okay, let it out. Let it out. Let it out. Let's get past all this bullshit, right? Get them past the emotional trauma that they just dealt with. And then I'd say, okay, let me see your presentation. And they start doing their presentation. You know what? Every single time, it sucked. You're messing up on your intro here. You're not looking here when you're supposed to be looking here. There were all these little nuances that was the beauty of learning this information was that I could go and I could look at anybody's presentation and tell you what you're doing wrong and how to make it better. Then we put those little tweaks on it just with the screwdriver, smack you on your butt, send you back out there. Next thing you know, I got one, Robert, I got one. And they'd be all excited. But they went, and I'm telling you the story because they went from crying on a curb to yelling in excitement because they had gotten the sale. Right? Just getting them past some of that initial fear, past some of the traumatization that they went through. So here's the truth about rejection, guys. Again, you're hearing it from somebody that has been rejected thousands upon thousands of times. Not so much anymore. But at the very beginning, it's what happened. And every now and then I do get some rejection. But the beautiful thing about it, when I get the rejection, I know exactly where I screwed up. Just as if I'm the one conditioning and taking the screwdriver to my agent that was there on the curb screaming and crying, I had to then do the same thing to myself. I had to then make those little adjustments because I have awareness that I see them, right? When I have the awareness and take action, those two go together, that will change your life. That's what my whole presentation is going to be about. Okay? So rejection is redirection. Okay? They say every no points you to the right. Yes. I don't want to hear that. Oh, every no leads you to a yes. That is so cliche, right? It's so cliche. But again, if you learn your product, you know how to present it, you know what the 5 objections are coming up, you answer those 5 objections within your presentation so that they don't have any questions. And then at the very end, you follow up by saying, does that make sense? If they say yes and it makes sense, great. When's the time? What's the best time to get started? They might say right now, or they might say in a week, right? But it's all in how you're presenting it, how you're putting it on their table, so to speak. Rejection is proof that you're playing, though. Now, I want to say this because it is proof. You can't get rejected from the sidelines, right? No one's going to tell you no if you're not out there talking. No one, right? Another thing, rejection is data. You guys know me. I'm all about the data, man. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. And when you have data and you know how to read that data, it tells you something very important. Okay. Fourth, rejection is temporary. The sting fades, man. But the lesson stays. This is what I want you guys to grab out of this conversation. The lesson that you learn from that rejection is what's most important because it's a lesson that will carry you forward, potentially to have to avoid that objection again. And this is what I mentioned when you know those 5 top answers to objections. It's very easy for you to answer the objections, go right back to your presentation where you were, make sure the person's above the buying line, get their buy-in with the check back. Does that make sense? And then go to the close. It's literally that easy. I know I say it kind of fast. If you haven't been around me yet enough, you got to learn how it works. But when you do it, it's super simple. I don't know, I wasn't planning on this, but Dale or Rita, can you all real quickly just talk about what happened on Saturday and what you saw?
Dale, you want to go? Okay, he's not coming off mic. All
Okay,
right.
that's all right. Go ahead. What did you
Okay.
see Saturday? What did we
So, well, one of the coolest thing I think was watching you do what you do. When earlier you were speaking about how did you do your 5 an hour. Well, we actually saw you doing that, and as we were talking, you saw stuff popping up on the screen, and then he would stop and go and answer that person. And it was quite amazing to watch. So when he said today that it works, it does work. We saw it work. We just don't do it. We just don't take the action to do it. And that's where a lot of us get stuck, me included. But it was like poetry in motion. It's like he just made it so simple, and they just, it was like he predicted what they were going to say before they said anything or before they responded, and it was just funny.
right?
So what you do, yep, what you are telling us to do works.
Thank you for that. Appreciate the feedback there. So what's the rejection formula? Well, more rejections. That means you're having more conversations. Means more opportunities. That means more success. But again, the key takeaway I want you guys to understand is that you don't have to have the rejection, my friends. And you don't have to fear that rejection, right? And especially now, if you're brand new to what I'm saying, then by all means, get the rejection. Get it. Get the no. All right, I got a no. Woo! There were agents that we had that would literally have that mindset to get out of a negative mindset and start moving forward, right? I know it might sound crazy, but they would celebrate the no because they knew that they would get about four no's before they would get a yes. What does that tell me as an experienced person? I'm telling you, your presentation sucks, and you're only closing about 20% of the people that you're talking to. One out of five, right? But the more conversations you have, the more rejections you might have. But that's okay because you'll have more success because you're getting through those conversations, right? The most successful people you know have been rejected more times than you've ever tried. I'm here to tell you this is God's honest truth. I've been rejected more times than you guys have even tried. Okay? So don't be afraid. I've gotten all the rejection for you, man. Here's the fear flip. Here's how we get around this, okay? Because again, it's a lot of self-talk. And for those of you guys that don't know, over the course of these 52 weeks, the way that I've got these presentations set up is chunks, right? So this beginning chunk for the first 8 weeks, we're going to be talking about this, mostly the mindset, and then the next 8 weeks we go on to a different topic. All of this is lined up and geared up so that you can have a process, if you will, have a map, right? So you can see start to finish. This is the things we need to focus on: our mindset, the fear, fear of objection. But when it comes to the mindset, this is very important, and why you always hear people like myself and others say mindset is so important. Why? Because you have to use that mindset to get over the other hurdles and obstacles, like as in, objections. So the fear flip, this is what we're going to do. 3 steps to neutralize fear in the moment. Number one, you have to feel it. Okay. Don't be afraid of it. Feel it. Don't fight the fear. Acknowledge it. Say, oh, I notice I'm feeling fear right now. Have that moment of awareness for yourself. This is the only way that you're going to change the behavior to be a better person or get rid of whatever that problem is. You have to first off feel it, have the awareness. Secondly, flip it. Ask what if the opposite happens, right? Because it's going to show you your worst case scenario. Flip to the best case. What if they say yes, right? Even that little mindset shift can help you change and move forward, pick up the phone, knock on the door. And then 3, forward, act within 5 seconds. The longer you wait, the louder fear gets, right? It's going to scream in your ear if you don't say, oh, I recognize I have a fear for it. What's the worst that could happen? Let's go. That's literally how you have to retrain your brain or reprogram your brain. Okay. So fear is a liar with a megaphone, my friends. Don't let it drown out your dreams. The only place that really matters is the one that says, try it anyway. Okay. So this week, what I want you guys to do, your rejection assignments, is a rejection challenge. Get rejected on purpose this week. Who's going to tell you that? What coach is going to tell you, go get a no? Go get rejected. Please do that for yourself. Okay. Just so that you can prove that rejection isn't going to kill you, if nothing else. All right. Number two, fear flip journal. Write it down. Okay. Every time fear stops you, oh, I'm scared of that. Write it down so you see what's coming out of your brain. Then write the truth. Watch how often fear predicts it, right? As if it never happened. And then the third, just like before, the 5 second rule. When you feel fear about an action you know you should take, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, and move. Just like you're doing a count off to a rocket ship and you go explode into space. Okay? Don't give fear any room in your life. Okay? So, key takeaways for today: what to remember: fear is a liar. It pretends to protect you, but it's just a primitive alarm system treating sales calls like tiger attacks. I love that. Rejection is not about you, my friends. This is very important for you to understand. Okay? It's not about you. Even though it's the things that you did to get the rejection, it's still not about you. It's about them and what they're personally going through, because a lot of this is just timing. Third, avoidance costs more than rejection. The more you avoid what you have to get done is worse than getting enough, because then you're never going to get anywhere. Use the fear flip, feel it, flip it. What if the opposite happens? Count down from 5 to 1 and then move forward. Okay. Look, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action despite fear. Move anyway. Okay. Fear's been lying to you your whole life. It told you rejection would destroy you, but you're still here. Every successful person you admire was rejected more times than you've ever tried. I can't even tell you how many times I've been rejected. I've been rejected so many times. You know what our secret is? I just stopped believing it. I stopped believing it. Then I started going from 50% to 100% of the closing because I knew how to deal with that rejection. Once you know how to deal with the rejection, you can overcome it all the time. And you won't have those negatives and those no's and all that rejection, right? So if you don't take anything from me, take that. So next week, we're going to talk about how your circle is your future and why the 5 closest people to you determine your success. So with that being said, I trust we got some value. We're at a couple minutes over, but I will open it up for any final comments, thoughts, concerns, questions. Oh, and Vicky, do you need that transcript?
I got the transcript, but I didn't get one video, one slide.
Okay,
So,
which one?
it was like 3 back.
Yeah,
That
Robert,
one,
if he
the,
if
the, the
you
one, the one right there, the one right past that one, the megaphone one. I saw
Okay,
it just
this is
right there. That one. Yay!
you were going to ask Dale for the slides, I guess.
yeah, I was going to ask for all the slides so I could go back through them because I hunt and pack and it takes me a while to write stuff down.
No worries, brother. No worries.
Awesome,
It's
dude.
great
Thank you
value
so
today.
much.
Anybody
Hey,
got
Yeah.
any feedback on this? You guys
yeah,
understand
the
what we
5
discussed?
second.
Yeah.
It's been it's been more than 2 years that I don't use heating in my shower. So, like yesterday, I took a shower with the temperature that we have right now.
Uh-huh.
And the hardest time is before I open the faucet.
Yeah. I
Once
can,
I open it, then the fear goes.
I can understand that actually. I definitely can understand that. My wife likes to take hot showers. Me, I'm like a lukewarm to cold kind of guy. Anyway, guys, anything else? Any comments, suggestions? Good stuff. You guys get some value from today?
Yep,
Really?
there
Go
was a
ahead,
book.
read it. I'm
There
sorry.
was oh, me too. I should have raised my hand. There was a book, I forgot the name of it. It's 5 4 3 2 1 go, and I forgot her name, but she did write about it. If you're slow getting out of bed, just go 5 4 3 2 1, get up and get moving. So
I like that. Well, maybe you can come back to us with the author or whatever. Maybe.
Mel Robbins,
Mel Robbins.
Mel
Sounds
Robbins.
familiar. I know that person. Cool. So yeah, 5 4 3 2 1. go to work. Let's kick some ass, take some names, and we'll see you guys on How to Tuesday and Wednesday.